Hello everyone. Okay, welcome. We are at day 5. Oh my gosh, I might move where I'm sat here. I'm just outside. We are moving on to lemon water today. So if you watched yesterday's video, I want to sit down here. If you watched yesterday's video, you'll have saw that I was still having coconut water. I was still having teas as I was transitioning from juices to the waters. I love that the sun is starting to come out now. I've come outside again and the sun's coming out. It was so overcast. I was like, is it gonna rain? It's probably gonna rain. But look, we have some sun peering out. Perfect. So to answer some more questions that you've had, it's getting quite bright now. To answer some questions that you have had, okay, so what is the purpose that you're actually doing a fast, right? This is what we want to ask. What's the actual purpose for people that are maybe joining in or have the questions? And this is where it's going to get really interesting. This is where it's going to really, this is where you kind of start to figure out where you're at. So I'm doing this in preparation for the solar eclipse. My body felt like it needed a bit of a break. A few times a year we'll do a breatharian weekend where that's 4 days with no food, no water, and instead I'm nourishing myself with prana. Now, this is the really important thing, is that, you know, man or woman who does not feed themselves will starve and die, right? That's a really bold statement, but you got to understand what nourishment is. You got to let your body realize what nourishment is. When we were born, we didn't need solid foods. When we were born, we didn't need these things, right? These are trained habits. You know, our cravings are trained habits. Our cravings are addictions. Our cravings are things like that. And a lot of us, and we will experience physical sensation as you go through any type of fast. So here I am with my lemon water, and I'm on day 5 now, feeling really energized, really awakened, really alive, really quite honestly, with a lot of energy. And what tends to happen as the body clears, just put this drink down. What tends to happen as the body clears is that as you're clearing the toxins within, and as you're facing the cravings, as you're facing the beliefs that you've had stored, right? Because for how long have we heard that if you don't eat or drink this, this, and this, then, you know, you'll get unwell and you'll get sick and blah, blah, blah. And those beliefs are stored in the body. They're not true, but those beliefs are stored in the body, right? Food is medicine. Food is medicine, you know, but also it can be a crutch. And that's usually how we use it in today's world, is we usually use food and drink as a crutch. We use it as a crutch to ignore and bypass our emotions, to ignore and bypass what we're feeling, to ignore and bypass many, many things. And it has then psychological connection. So when you start to do a fast, you are going to be faced with not only mental things that are going to come up, like beliefs and worries and concerns. You're going to feel it physically. You know, you might start to feel a bit wobbly. You know, you might start to feel a bit wobbly. That's your body telling you, firstly, it's releasing something, and secondly, you're not nourishing yourself in another way, right? And we need to nourish ourselves in different ways. So how can you do that? The body needs movement, right? The more that you are going to lighter forms of prana or lighter forms of nourishment or food, the more that you need to then nourish yourself with something else, right? So that's meditation, that's movement. The body needs to move. It needs to move. You know, we start yawning when we're not moving that energy within, right? You know, the body needs to move. The body needs to laugh. It needs to be in the now moment. It needs to connect with the earth. It needs to connect with the elements. You know, the body, the mind, the emotions, all of who we are need that. That is nourishment. Laughing, having a wonderful time. That is nourishment, you know. All these things that bring joy, that is nourishment. And so when you go through something like this, yes, things are going to arrive. And we might speak about that more over the weekend when we go into the dry fast aspect of it. If you saw the last one that I did around the summer solstice, we spoke a lot about health crises that the body has in order to release things that it no longer needs. That can be allergies, that can be pains, that can be misalignments, that can be, malfunctioning DNA. It can be many things, right? It's a really beautiful time, though, that we're here. I had someone ask in one of the other videos, that they tried juicing and then they got a lot of IBS symptoms. IBS symptoms usually on a metaphysical level and on a holistic level is when the body is in fight or flight. The body is in fight or flight, it develops an allergy, it develops an intolerance, likely an intolerance to fructose if it was fruits that you were juicing and you had IBS symptoms, but there is an out of balance energy going on in the stomach, in the gut, where the parasites and the bacteria are. And we live in symbiosis with those parasites, with those bacteria. We are their host. We need them to digest food if we're going to eat and drink, but they need us as well to live in. So it wants to be a mutual and a loving relationship between the parasites in the stomach, in the gut, and everything else. Now, if they're not in balance, we'll know because we won't feel good. In our mind, we won't feel good. Our body will show us that we're not feeling good. But remember, everything physical is emotional first, and everything emotional first is mental, right? Is a belief. Is a part of us that we're not letting love in, that we're not letting ourselves be who we are. So it's really fun because, like, how am I feeling today? I had a really good night's sleep. I went to bed nice and early because the more that you fast, the more that you get on board with like the nature's rhythm. So I had a really beautiful sleep. I woke up full of energy. I juiced some organic lemons. I have lemon water. I've not got any sugar in it. I've not got any salt in it. People are asking about that. My intention of when I was juicing and doing this, my intention is not to substitute solid food for liquids. That is not my intention. My intention is not to try and get a whole balanced meal out of what I'm drinking or eating or drinking specifically. My intention is to help my body remember that everything is around me, that it can draw in what it needs, that I don't need to be codependent on specific things, that I don't need to believe whatever the hype is in this decade around vitamins, minerals. At one point we demonized sugar, at one point we demonized fat. We need both of those in our body, but it doesn't have to solely come from food or what we're consuming. It can be created in other ways. Right, so when you do a breatharian initiation, which is when you do over 3 days as a dry fast, when you do breatharian initiation, that's what your body is remembering, but it has to release physically, emotionally, and mentally. It has to release the things that are blocking it. So yeah, if you do a water fast, you may find that you'll have moments where you are feeling a bit dizzy. That's because you're not moving enough. That energy isn't reaching where it needs to. So you need to move, you need to ground, you need to breathe, and you need to work with your chi. This is where you really have to be serious about doing that, because your body is now cleared out. Your body has now cleared out what it needs to, right? Your body has now cleared out what it needs to, and it's in the gut. And now you're a clear chalice, you're a clear vessel, you're a clear temple ready to receive and align how you need to. Unless you are doing those practices, you're gonna struggle because you're not nourishing yourself in a different way. And this is the biggest thing that people miss, is that we can think that we're just gonna stop eating or drinking whatever because we want to be in this aligned state, but we've not actually done the work to anchor in practices that are nourishing instead. Like, that is the thing. You have to be able to nourish yourself in a different way. Meditation, qigong, yoga, movement, running, sport, rest when you need to, laughing, singing, all those things. But yeah, you will find though that you get more and more and more energy. And it gets to a point where, like, what do you do with that energy? So you have to be able to practice some form of mental discipline, because otherwise this energy it'll drive you a bit crazy. You'll get bored. And that's why we eat a lot of the times, is because we're bored. We're bored, or we're feeling something that we don't want to feel, or we're just disassociating, right? So many bees out today. I love this. Hello, bee. Oh, look at that. Can you see that? Anyway, so I'm gonna go drink my next glass of lemon water. I'm gonna go in and start my appointments, and I send you all so much love. Have a beautiful, beautiful water fast if you are fasting or feasting with me. And in the meantime, I'll see you tomorrow for day 6. Bye for now.